Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. I just didn't want to do a quick one. Just following on the few other podcasts that I've done recently to do with the root of all the issues that we live within. You know, whether you believe in flat Earth, whether you believe in 9/11 being an inside job. I know I roll those two out all the time, but people who have suspicions, let's put it that way, against the system or the world that we live in or the way that our life is. Lots of people express these. Lots of people say that, this life, it's rubbish, it's shit. There's a better way of doing things. Often in the past, I've come to the conclusion that it's to do with truth, in the sense of all the lies that we live with, and I think it may be more to do with the lying aspect of it, that our capacity as humans to lie. Because when you look at recently I was talking about the different due to watching Flat Earth Dave and Rebecca's Ways YouTube stream, which is really, really good. Check it out. It was mentioning about to do with what food is good for you and medicine and stuff like that. Even Planet Fargon's been talking about that recently as well. And the thing is, what I'm trying to think about is, the truth to it. It's easy just to say, especially like someone who's come through conspiracies and flat Earth, to be very suspicious and very, lacking in faith in these institutions, scientists and professionals and whatever. And so it's very easy just for me to say, oh yeah, the medicine is bad for you and it's doing damage to you and this, that, and the other. But I don't know whether is that because it's purposely done, or is it because that's the best that can be done? Not every medicine or cure, and I'm not trying to be gatekeeperish or anything like that, but I'm just trying to be as honest as I can be without sort of just using confirmation bias of just saying, yeah, I'm on board with that. Because the thing is, I don't know. I'm not able to do tests or research into what harms medicine does to people. Yeah, we all know that medicine does have side effects. That's why they have clinical trials beforehand, and they do release these medicines with lots of side effects to them, in the sense that some of them, when you read them, when I get these medicines, I think, oh my god, I don't want to take this medicine, because sometimes they can say, oh, it might, you could die, you could have a heart attack, you could have a stroke. But I don't know whether that's, you have to look at it. Well, there's three sort of possible conclusions. One is that, is it done purposely? Are you saying that people are out there, pharmaceutical companies, governments, etc., are out there to kill their individuals? Now I know that seems very extreme, but there's not. That's there are reasons why that could be possible. Financially and numbers wise. Because you get a lot of Bill Gates. If you listen to Bill Gates recently talking about reducing population, and often he talks about vaccines and trying to eradicate poverty. And I don't know why doing those things would have a population drop. Surely it would be greater, because people would be more healthy, more happy. But then I suppose then the other possibility is the science that we have. It's not possible to create something perfect for everyone, or individuals, or that's the thing. It's like, I can take a drug and I'll have no side effects to it. The next person next door to me will take the same drug, will have side effects to it. So it may be that because we're all so different, it's difficult to find a generic thing that will have no effect. So I guess what they tend to do with the clinical trials, that's why they have hundreds of people doing them, is based on the majority. If the majority are okay, I mean, I know that sounds bad in a way, sort of saying that, so there will be a 1% that will suffer badly, possibly even die. But it depends whether, is there anything better they can do? Is it a limit to us curing things? Then the third thing is that maybe there's other things out there, like the drugs that we're not allowed to have, like cannabis, marijuana, all that kind of stuff, which is made from the same, it's actually from this earth, same as every other medicine, and they're synthesized and things like that from those things. Are there things there that would cure people but wouldn't have the side effects? That's another argument given. Now, I don't know which is the true out of the three of those, but I think if you without me actually being able to do studies, because it's easy for people to say, yeah, cannabis or marijuana, yeah, that's good for you, or whatever, and it can cure you of this, that, and the others, as some people do. There are lots of people that claim that they do that, and maybe it does. I don't know, but I can't verify that. But the thing is I don't know whether people actually do the same rigorous tests that clinical trials do. And I'm not trying to big up pharmaceutical companies, because I don't believe in the idea of how the pharmaceutical companies work. I believe that the people that want to do help for mankind should be doing it for free. There should be no monetary value, because I believe that with money, that's where this problem comes. Now, I don't know whether it's a trust problem or whether it is actually a real problem, in the sense that are pharmaceutical companies purposely not looking at other cures, other ways of dealing with things, because they've already got something that works? Or possibly also some people suggest that because of the, when you give them these medicines, they may treat the initial thing, but they may cause other things later down the line. We know about that as well. You get a lot of people that when they're on a drug for a long time, they have other problems like liver or etc. or heart. So whether that's done purposely or whether that's done because there's nothing better, or whether it's done to keep the pharmaceutical companies in industry, because then they've cured one thing, but it's allowed another thing, so that means they don't lose their revenue. And that's why I think it's problematic having pharmaceutical companies linked to money, because you'll always have that question and you'll always have that temptation, because we know as an individual, I can only look at myself, and I look through my own eyes, and I'm the type of person that wouldn't do that. But then that's a problem, because I see through my eyes that all of us do. So if you have knowledge of these things, like other people have actual physical knowledge of the effects that medicine has, they're going to look through it that way. So that's the problem. We're all individuals, we're all humans, we all have a different truth or way of looking. So that is the problem. So I'll only ever be able to see through my own eyes, or by what I'm told. So yeah, it's possible that that's my problem with pharmaceutical companies, that they shouldn't be linked with money. Because yes, like I'm saying, that I wouldn't go out to, if I had the ability to work out cures and, do medicine and stuff like that, and I would want to find something that could cure everyone. But I know that I might have limitations, in the sense that I've got 100 people, and this medicine may work perfectly on 98 people, but 2 people have side effects. So what do I do? Well, I guess the better option is to try and work out more and more and more, see if I can get it to 100%. I don't know. Sometimes that might not always be possible. I don't know. But if it's not possible, let's say it isn't possible, then sometimes you have to then release it, because you're going to help 98% of people. And I know that's not good for the 2%. I mean, maybe there needs to be more done with when they hand out medicine, that they keep this kind of data, and then before they give you the medicine, they do a DNA test on you to see if you're within that 98 or 2%. Now that, I suppose, would solve that part of the problem. But then there are people out there who don't think like I do, and the people listening to this who are very money orientated and don't care about, it seems unbelievable for me to say it, and people will be saying, no, there aren't people like that, especially in the medical profession. But we know, you've all seen CCTV footage of carers, people, and I mean, if you think about them, and also to do with looking after kids, nurseries, those are, you're looking after the 2 most vulnerable types of people. If you take away people who are terminally ill, you look at old people and young people, and you think that the people that do this job, they must love those, that to care for those. But we've seen CCTV footage of people kicking babies, throwing babies, making babies fight with each other. That was on Subtle Infinity on his Instagram compilation recently. You've got carers where they've killed their patients, or they've done things to them. These people exist, and it's foolish for us to believe that everyone is kind and everyone's loving and everyone does everything for the right reasons. No, they don't. Unfortunately, that's another part of the problem of why we are in this way. And I don't know whether that's taught or whether that's because of the environment, or it's genetic. That we, like with a crop, you're always going to get a bad wheat or whatever. I don't know. That didn't come out a great metaphor, but so I don't know whether, because we have that kind of person, if you imagine those types of people that do exist, and we don't know how many exist, because these are only cases that you've seen. How many of these are big CEOs or managing directors who control these pharmaceutical companies, and because they're they love money so much, because there are people that love money, so they're always going to have this problem of, do they do the right thing for everyone, or do they do something that's financially beneficial? But the problem is it's very easy, and this is maybe what puts people off sometimes when they listen to these kinds of videos on YouTube, is they see a very sort of, it's a black or white issue. It's not, because there's multitudes of things. There may be lots of, it's like when even I've done it before on here, where I sort of say about a certain industry or this, that and the other, but there's lots of people, medical people, people who are researching, who will be, doing it for the right reasons, and are wanting to find a cure that cures everyone. There will be people out there who want to find a cure for cancer, or want to find a cure for HIV/AIDS, or want to find a cure for dementia or whatever. And there will be people out there that want to make money out of it. And that's the problem. The problem is, I think, with us, that answers maybe most of my pursuit of this truth of the world that we live in and the problems that we live in, which are very many, which you can see in previous podcasts, is the human's ability to lie. Human's ability to problem with the truth, whether there is such a thing as, one truth, or whether there's many truths. Because if there's one truth, it's easy to say, yes, this is exactly what it is. But if there's many truths, in the way that it's to do with perception and things like that, then we're never going to get to a sort of definitive answer of things. There's going to be a mix of those truths, that there's more than one way of doing things. And the other thing is the selfish nature of human beings. Now, like I say, I don't know whether that's taught through time, through the way that we live, through examples that are given to us that we think are harmless but are actually doing us more harm. They're making us. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we are at where we are now. And we need to admit, whether you believe in flat earth, whether you believe in 9/11 and the inside job, whether you think that pharmaceutical companies are doing a good job or a bad job, whether you think that politicians are doing a good job or a bad job, whatever you believe, we have to look at the world around us. And the problem is, we can only see our own world if we're living really nicely in like a big mansion with a moat, and a Jaguar. We're not going to sort of say, something needs to be done. But we need to be less selfish and look at everyone, how everyone is living. If everyone was living perfectly, if everyone was living freely, not having to worry about the colour of their skin, because if they're a certain colour, they will get attacked. They will not have a nice life as someone who does have a different colour. That's not right. We are one species, and then we've got to understand this. We've been divided through time, through history, through location, through how we look. We need to get past all that, and we need to actually look truthfully. Is everyone on this planet at this very moment, is every one of us happy? Is every one of us equal? Is every one of us having the nice life as everyone else? Or is there an imbalance there? If there is an imbalance there, an inequality and an injustice, then that means something needs to be done. And if you don't believe that, then you're part of the problem, isn't it, really? Because you're then accepting that it's okay for people to suffer. And I don't think, especially if most of people, us, are meant to be religious, are meant to believe in God, are meant to believe in God's teachings, if those people also, which is meant to be a majority of the species, then how are they justifying their teachings with the world that we live in, which isn't fair and equal for every single one of us? I think I've said enough now. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.